Dear colleagues, in this lecture we are going to deal with the business vocabulary part in Unit 4 of Skills for Business Studies Intermediate. Students are to work through a good deal of terms, verb plus preposition collocations and phrasal verbs they have come across while reading the text. I will not dwell on that issue in detail, just would like to introduce you to a strategy to memorize new vocabulary that has proved to work very well. So, first of all, students have to write out the new word. I have chosen the word liquidity. Then they should find a synonym. In this case, it is marketability. Then they should find the dictionary definition. Here it is the ability to convert an asset to cash quickly. Then they should indicate the original sentence where they first came across the word. Here the example is, these possible liquidity problems can lead to many bankruptcies where businesses are unable to pay what they owe. And finally, the most important aspect is that they should write a sentence of their own. I have chosen this one. Some securities, such as mutual funds, offer liquidity by allowing investors to redeem their securities. Actually, this strategy is better presented as a chart with the new word, synonym, definition, original sentence, and my sentence used as titles of the columns. And then students can fill in the new words line by line. So, this is just to give you an idea how constructive this strategy can be for students' glossaries. Actually, the main point I would like to draw your attention to is the well-known financial expression, neither a borrower nor a lender be. Ask yourself, do you understand all the implications of it? Do you know its author? Here I have to pay another compliment to the textbook, as it allows raising such an important philosophical issue and bring in deep cultural background, which is especially important as it turned out that my very intelligent students with excellent language capacity found it extremely difficult to reflect on the expression. Moreover, they happen to know next to nothing about Shakespeare. So, to initiate their thinking, I prepared a few slides to develop the issue, and let me share them here with you. The whole sentence looks like this. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and a friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry. As you see, it belongs to Polonius and appears in Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 3. The word husbandry requires special attention, so you can see it on the next slide. It has two main meanings. First, the care, cultivation, and breeding of crops and animals. Synonymous expression would be farm management, farming, agriculture, land management, etc. And the second meaning is management and conservation of resources. Synonymous expressions: conservation, careful management, good housekeeping, economy, thrift, budgeting. Antonym: wastefulness. And origin: Middle English, from husband in the obsolete sense, farmer. And finally, the interpretation. In Polonius's terms, there is little to argue with in his perhaps ungenerous advice. His logic is thus: lending money to friends is risky because hitching debt onto personal relationships can cause resentment, and in the case of default, loses the lender both his money and his friend. Borrowing invites more private dangers. It supplants domestic thrift, husbandry, in Polonius's eyes, an important gentlemanly value. At this point only, students become able to reflect on this statement and start speaking about traditional true values. So, a couple of other quotations can be brought in to initiate further discussion and/or make a task for an additional writing assignment. I have chosen these two. I, however, place economy among the first and most important virtues, and public debt as the greatest of the dangers to be feared. Thomas Jefferson. Before borrowing money from a friend, decide which you need most. A very famous saying. Somehow it is rather common thinking among economists that literature is a phenomenon that exists totally separately from work and life. So I find it crucial to prove the opposite by bringing just one simple example with Richard Olivier, a son of a famous English actor and an associate fellow at Said Business School. He is an internationally recognized conference speaker and workshop facilitator, best known for creating mythodrama and his use of Shakespearean myths as containers for transformational leadership journeys. Richard teaches and is a facilitator of the Oxford Strategic Leadership Program on the Oxford Advanced Management and Leadership Program, and on coaching and consulting for change. He has had similar roles on custom programs for clients including Standard Chartered Bank, Royal Hold, the Linde Group and Thames Water. Internationally, he teaches programs based on themes and characters from Shakespeare. Inspirational leadership is based on Henry V. Influential leadership draws on lessons from Julius Caesar. Ethical leadership looks at Macbeth. Transformational leadership draws on The Tempest, and sustainable leadership on As You Like It. A 2-week course on the program costs €27,000. Besides, Olivier has got numerous followers over the world. In case you find it interesting to read further on the issue, here are a few helpful references.